Welcome back. We hope you are enjoying PttsburgHer, which is a tribute to all things women-centric. We like to talk about all the topics, and we certainly have covered a ton of topics, including facial hair, and baby showers, and menopause, lots and lots of menopause. In fact, we actually have a question specifically for Dr. Fitzgerald.
Okay, but
it is not menopause related, so we can't answer it. We could answer it, but I don't think it would be clinical. It would just be angry.
Rage, yes.
But anyway, this is a production between Pittsburgh Magazine and Jagoff Media, and we just enjoy talking to our friends just like you do. So if you have something you want to say, please make sure that you are giving us your feedback because we need to fill our bowl. A casual conversation. Christy, you actually brought this up in our last episode. It is dry January. So do we think that this is a good reset or is it a silly thing? Where did it come from? Do any of us know? Have you done a story on this before?
I've done dry January stories.
Where does it even come from?
Dry,
the reason?
It's really hard to say dry January without sounding drunk. But right. I mean, just like with Botox I think it's your own personal thing.
Sure.
Like I said before, it does really hurt like breweries and distilleries and stuff when people just stop cold turkey in January and there's like crickets chirping. So I think moderation is the way to go. And in menopause, I've found that I can't really drink that much anymore, but I still like the taste of having like a good beer. And we live in Pittsburgh where there's lots of good beer and there's lots of cool places that are inclusive and accepting and just, like really amazing spots. And I think that's what people are looking for more so. And there's more breweries opening. So that might be the trend.
That's
maybe across the country.
Because I don't remember hearing about it until the last few years, right?
Dry January?
Yeah. Or was this always a thing?
I feel like I've known about it. I mean, people feel like overindulged in the holiday time and just are like, but I don't know, interesting. I have like, two views on this one as like a doctor and a women's health expert that like the amount of research that is mounting that alcohol is one of the, particularly for women, like the worst things you can do for your body. Yeah. It increases your risk of breast cancer like exponentially. It's extremely horrible for your body. But that being said, I also have a brother who's a bar owner.
Yeah, right.
Who owns like 2 bars, but they have like a very extensive like mocktail program that in January they put a lot of thought into it. And since one of his bars is an Irish pub, I love non-alcoholic Guinness. It is one of my favorite drinks. I drink it absolutely all the time. I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast, but I will. A very hilarious video that I will never share because people would take it the wrong way of my 1-year-old nephew drinking my non-alcoholic Guinness, but it is so funny because he looks like he's like, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Non-alcoholic for anyone listening, but it's like very tasty. It tastes just like normal Guinness. So I don't know. I think it's like a good thing to do. I think moderation is probably the way to go. But in general, moderation is how women and really everyone should drink all the time anyway.
Or anything.
Because it really is not good for you. It causes so many cancers. It is poison. It's delicious poison though.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny. I'm not a beer drinker, but I love Guinness. Love Guinness. Like it's literally my favorite. So I have to try it.
Non-alcoholic Guinness tastes just like normal Guinness. It's really good.
Non-alcoholic car bombs.
Yeah. They sell so much non-alcoholic Guinness in January. It's crazy. And even all year round. I have it. Especially with an Irish pub, which I've been to that pub and it's Cork Harbor. It's great. Yeah. I like that camaraderie of, I've been to Ireland and it really it feels that way. Like I love the tin ceiling. It feels very warm. I've been there with like live bands. Like
they have live music all the time.
And it's I love that communal feeling I've been there when people are like watching like a soccer football game and people are like this. Yeah. And it's just fun. And there's kids there and there's kids. My sister hosts trivia every Tuesday and today is her birthday and she's hosting trivia. So now
do you all crowd there?
Yeah. It's like where my family always goes. Yeah. Like several of my siblings bartend and my brother and his wife like make the whole environment is very much their brainchild. They have a book club that's like wildly popular where they read like Irish literature and like everyone gathers and discusses.
I know another podcast that would be interested in that, so we're gonna have to talk about that.
Sure. Yeah.
That's so cool.
They do so many cool things. So yeah, the trivia, the live music, the book club.
What's it called again?
Cork Harbor. It's in Lawrenceville.
Fun.
Yeah, it's like my brother and his wife's like labor of love.
Yeah, I didn't realize that dry January was such a thing until the last couple of years. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, obviously. But for me, I just told Christy, my husband celebrated on December 28th, 1 year alcohol free. And it was a deliberate, our boomer parents, don't understand. It's like, what happened? What happened that this is going on? There's a story. And there really was no story, except that now when I look back and I think about just how different life was, not in a good way, bad way, and different way.
Yeah.
I just know I like where it is now. And you kind of look back and go, I didn't realize that maybe you were lethargic the next day or you lost time doing something else. Like those kinds of things that really have made a difference. So for us, I chose to do it with him, and it's been kind of cool. So I have not drank in over a year, and it doesn't mean that there's not times that I'm like, boo, I could go for whatever.
Sure.
But ultimately,
I really love non-alcoholic Guinness.
but
It really scratches the itch.
but I'm with you. I think in moderation, right?
Always. Yeah, all the things in moderation.
Is there a bar in Sewickley? What's the Sewickley bar?
My house. But
No, there are, which is 6-7 bar.
right. Vivo is great.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then if you want something like more cash, there's Sidelines. There's a Caliente location that actually has a lot of good taps.
What's the cowboy one?
The Cowboy one.
Rose's
Rose's Cantina.
Is that new?
Also known as Swickley Hotel. It was a little formerly known as Swickley Hotel.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the new addition to it, right? Because I walked past it and I was like, wow. Ish. Okay.
Yeah.
Lula's like the tapas place. So, there's not like a good, just like
dive.
There's not a, like Sidelines is the closest, I guess, to a dive, but there's not that like camaraderie.
Sure.
None of those bars have a book club. Or like
Start this.
any sort. I'm
So popular.
I'm sure everybody has regulars, but there's not kind of like that spot that, there used to be a place called Pizza Roma, all growing up and it's closed, but Roma was the place that like you would go to when you came home from college and, all of those. Meet you at Roma. Yeah. So yeah.
There's one in North Hills.
Is that?
I'm not a fan. Oh well. Sorry, Roma. It's not the official pizza. PttsburgHer.
Oh, PttsburgHer.
Oh, I think this is still. Oh, this is from our friend Marin.
Yay! Hi, Marin.
Oh, wow. Leave it to Marin. Share a story about discrimination in the workplace.
Jiminy Crickets.
Oh, Marin! It was so light and wonderful. That's funny.
I have many.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
And like not all of them are like so outright, but medicine is full of sexism, particularly like being a female surgeon. And it is so different to be a female surgeon than a male surgeon in terms of how you have to like present yourself and treat the staff in the room. Like you're not allowed to have an angry tone or to sound like forceful. If you do, you will like literally get written up by like a nurse. They will write you up for not liking your tone or for saying you sound like aggressive or hostile when like men throw things in operating rooms and yell and scream and people are just scared of them and they like work more quickly. So like there's so many examples like that. They actually did this research study on women and men's operating rooms and like number one, the difference in the volume of like how loudly people feel comfortable like having accessory conversations in the room. Wow. So like nurses come in, they're like blip, 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 like Dr. Fitzgerald, for example, like her OR is a safe space. We can have like a conversation. She's not gonna like yell at us versus like a man's operating room, they'll silence. Like you would never disrupt like his concentration or his space. But then when you ask them to please keep it down, they get mad at you and like we'll write you up for like making you feel uncomfortable. And I know many women that's happened to. They've also done studies on how quickly like the room is cleaned like by the staff and like how fast and efficiently they keep your room running. And it takes like 45 minutes to get like a woman's operating room clean versus 13 minutes to get a man's operating room clean. So there's like things like that all the time. Like you cannot raise your voice or like have a tone
without being worried. You have to also like do something called status leveling, which is like to get mostly female nurses to like to be on your side and to like work with you. You have to like become their friend, versus like male surgeons have to be their like superior. So that's like the way you have to do it. Anyway, but yeah, I know every female surgeon I know has been written up by a nurse for their tone.
I think that happens in offices too, like I mean, I don't know that there's data on it per se, but just seeing the difference between working under a male CEO and a female CEO, and just like the expectation of the approach, that there's like an expectation that she's going to be friendly and she's going to, clean up all the glasses after the meeting. And it's like, no, dude, it's like, she has another meeting to go to, and you never would have expected him to do that. Like, there was this level of expectation that, oh no, his assistant will, turn over the conference room after a meeting, or the rest of the team will turn over the conference room. Whereas, when a female CEO comes in, there's this expectation that like, oh no, she's going to know where the catering should come from. And she's like,
occupational housekeeping.
Right.
Is what that's called.
Yeah. I'm not here.
All the time. You got to take the notes. You got to bring in the cupcakes. You got to like do gifts for the staff. Like you're expected to throw the parties.
Yes.
No.
And when you're a mom in the office, you're also expected to be the mom of the office, which is
mood manage the office.
Have snacks, have tampons, have Band-Aids, have like, all this. I'm like, yeah.
I don't even have that for myself.
I mean, I do, but like I did before I had kids also. It's just like, who I am. But yeah, nobody would ever go to one of my male colleagues' desks and be like, hey, do you have a Band-Aid? Or even like, do you know where the first aid kit is? For better or worse, like, I have plenty of male colleagues who are like, dude, the first aid kit's here. Or like they have Band-Aids in that, but nobody would ever ask them.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I shared this a couple episodes ago where I said, I lived a long time in my career without experiencing it, that I noticed, right? Like I come from a generation that's a little different in that, we've said this a million times, in that, my dad even said this over the holidays, where my dad had a tactic of telling me like, guys are better, to push me, okay? Not something that I would ever do now, but I don't regret it, because I think it did have an impact on who I am.
Yeah.
And how I approach things, and I can do things that men can do. Because it was this intentional, again, I don't think it was healthy, but at the time, it was the tactic that was used. And so he doesn't understand as a boomer, like he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. And that's how I know that it wasn't this intentional thing. However, it doesn't work today. But as a generational difference, I didn't experience a lot of it, because I've often felt comfortable in the room with men until this year. I had 2 major instances in 2025 that were so offensive that I was like, it flipped me that quickly, because I was proud to say, like, I hate that this has happened to women, and I want to advocate for women because I know it happens. And I've felt uncomfortable in certain situations, but not so much that it's happened to me until this. And it was so stereotypical, because it was a union who I was working with. And we love working with our unions. And our unions who I work with now are absolutely fantastic, and they are disciplined, and they are on time, and they're, all those good things. But this one guy, he was ready to pull some of the work that we were doing in-house, and completely mistook the work that we were doing for another agency. They were doing another piece of it, and pulled us back. And I said, excuse me, I just want you to know, though, that's not the work that we're doing. That's the other group's work. He was so mad that I spoke up in a room of men that he still pulled it. Took me off of the email later and just sent the email to the 2 other guys on my team. And I said, do you see this? This is what I mean. But he wanted to publicly shame me because I didn't adhere to just be like, okay, I guess we didn't do our work well. Instead, I said, that wasn't even us. And let me explain the one piece that you brought up. This was the reality. So it was an awful feeling. And again, I can empathize with the people who have been through it and hate it for them and be an advocate for them. But when it happens to you, it is a horrible, you feel like you're fighting a fight on your own.
Yeah.
You know, that's my
And it's like a complex emotion because you feel like you're in trouble or you did something wrong.
Right.
You feel like kind of dirty and icky.
Yeah.
You don't like know where
But you're like,
go
good
next.
for you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very, again, I'm sure there's a German word for it.
Yeah.
For what the emotion is.
I also often have that feeling of like, is this happening?
Like, you know it's happening.
You know, like I'll be in Ryan and I'll be in a meeting and somebody will only talk to Ryan. This happens with school
Oh, yes,
stuff.
that happens to me. They'll talk to like my male medical student, like the patient, and not me.
And not,
They'll like look at him and not me. And I'm like,
Right here, guy.
I'm
the
the
boss.
expert. I'm the doctor. And recently there was a time we came out of a meeting and Ryan was like, why I didn't know the answers. Like, why were, because they were asking like a lot of questions about the kids and Ryan is super involved. He really is. But like, there's just things that he doesn't retain, especially when it comes to like the kids' education plans and stuff. And so they kept asking about like study habits and iPad charging, and he kept looking at me. And then the person talking to us was looking at him. It was this weird triangle.
well, I am glad that they were asking him those things.
Yeah, right.
Not only they default parent to the mom.
Yeah.
It's like the mom knows when they plug in their iPad. The mom knows when they
Yeah,
study.
that's
The
true.
mom knows this. So I am glad that they were asking him and not you, but
Yeah, it was
If it was-
about those habits though, and it was
Okay.
more about like their
in
tech
charge.
preferences.
Okay.
Yes, like are they doing this on their iPads? Are they using it for like these other things? And it was
Okay.
like, Ryan was like, I don't help with homework. Like I coach soccer. Like this is not
Sure.
I don't know. So yeah, it was I hear you.
it was not in that
but
way.
it was not in that way.
It wasn't like, are your children on their vaccine schedule? And like the dad has no idea.
no idea.
And you're like, come on.
Come on, man. No, both of us are very thankful for our apps for that because I don't know how our parents like they must have had a sheet of your parents
My
and
baby
the 8 of you like
My mom tells the story now, it's a non sequitur, but like I didn't know this till semi recently that she would take all 8 of us to the pediatrician at the same time.
so she would remember when
As a doctor, though, I mean, she would remember, but she would just take us all together. And like, can you imagine being a doctor and your entire morning is one family?
You're the reason your line practice doesn't do that. You can't take more than 2. No. I'm like,
that's hysterical.
Right. Like,
Wow.
an 11, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like all in the same.
that is for real.
very unhinged.
She had to. You had to know.
What kind of vehicle did your parents
A
have?
Suburban.
Okay.
Which seats 9.
I was thinking like Partridge Family.
Wait a minute.
Technically, it was not even big enough when all of us were there. But the middle seat could hold 4 small
Gerald's
children.
gonna have.
We won't talk about that.
Chrissy, what is your situation? Have you had one
I mean, in my
or many or
I've
any?
worked for my editors have been men and women. I think, I mean, I kind of like I'm like a dude. Like I get along with men. And,
I feel like that too.
You know, but I think women, especially one of my first editors, Edith Hughes, people always like, well, she's a battle axe.
Yeah.
And she probably taught me more.
Yes.
And how to have a tougher skin.
Yeah.
Challenged me more.
Sure.
And I think the women editors that I have had have done that. Whereas like, you know, the guys, which I love, I've loved everyone that I've worked with. I've had one woman in Ocean City that I did not like, but I think, you know, we're always just like friends, and maybe I got a little bit too comfortable, like just doing the same thing. But where, you know, Edith really pushed, you know, at her funeral, they gave out red pens.
Yep.
Because she was notorious for just
That's funny.
Yeah.
you know, but it made your writing better.
Yeah.
And so someone that's going to challenge you, that doesn't make them a bad person or, you know, a bitch. It makes you better.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's
She also knows that like men don't have to be perfect to succeed, but like women often do.
Do.
Right. So she knew that if you weren't
Yes. So
Yeah.
she knew I was like
Yeah,
a
it's
good writer, but I could be better if I would just.
She was blunt and
Yes.
yeah.
And I'm a very timid person. Probably not the best person to be a journalist, but it did teach me a lot, especially, and that was 20 years ago. So.
Well, and I was going to say Edith was really known more for the younger journalists because you were young when you were.
She cared about journalism.
She
very,
did.
very much.
Yeah.
About
She had the PttsburgHer Herald Gateways.
Yeah.
That's where I
Signal
started. And then the Trib bought Gateway newspapers. And, but they're still going strong. And I think community journalism is something that's so important.
Whole other topic, right?
And that is what she really instilled in me. And that will never, that's something that's in me for life.
Yeah.
So I want that more. And I don't know if I could be that abrasive to like a younger journalist, which, but I want to help younger journalists who want to write, but maybe not as, I don't know, that way, but there's
All
a
sorts
way.
of different ways of having high standards.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't always have to
Be negative.
Right.
No, you're
there's,
right.
there's a balance there, but
Yeah.
you have to, when you know what you're talking about and you're teaching someone, that's, you want them to be a little bit of it above you, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Good question,
thanks for
Marin.
Edith.
Yeah, good question, Marin. Marin wins. There's like some bell, like ding, 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 Marin. Right? Always a bell.
Marin.
Sarah, I didn't ask you this before, but I need to know where are we on your count for running? How many states have you?
Sure.
Explain that goal.
50 by 50 is the goal. Half marathon.
I wouldn't hit it.
Not if you started now, no.
Right.
And I didn't, there's now like a 50 states running club, but I've been doing it for so long that maybe it was around when I started, but anyway, I'm not part of the 50 states running club. I've just kind of done it on my own, and so I'm at 40, so I've got 10 states to go.
What's on tap for this year?
So we were just talking about this, and there's a Bear Lake trifecta in Bear Lake, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho border. So they do halves on, it's either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I haven't gotten into it too deeply yet, but you get 3 states in one weekend. And then the following weekend, I think I'll do one in Colorado and then knock off those 4 states.
Do you have like a one you want to end it on?
I want to end it in Alaska in June of 2029 because I will turn 50 in November of 2029. But August, my oldest kiddo will graduate high school at the beginning of June of 2029. So we'll do sort of like our last family vacation while he's still home. Don't know what he'll be doing, but so I want to end then, and I want to do Hawaii in like November, December of 2028. So those will be my last 2.
I love that.
That's so cool.
What a fun fact.
Yeah.
Sarah, little runner.
My kiddos have been to a lot of states. It's good. It's fun.
That's great.
Kudos. What was your favorite?
Keep us posted.
It was my favorite. That is so hard because so many of them are really, really different. I will always love the New York City Marathon. It is the only one that I've ever finished that I said I would do again. I haven't ever done it again, but it's so special. I also really liked this one that I did in South Dakota where they drive you kind of like halfway up this mountain in the Black Hills and you run down 13 miles.
Oh, wow.
But it's like a pretty gradual descent, but a whole downhill one.
That's cool.
Was fun and gorgeous. There was one in Alabama where the last mile was in a cave. It's called Race to the Cave. That was really neat. So I try to find like unique mix of big and small.
Maybe inspired by those.
Well, if
I would walk that.
Okay.
I would walk it.
I think I'm going to do Virginia over spring break next April. I think we're doing Williamsburg because there's a half there. Virginia and Maine are my only eastern states that I have left. So probably going to check those off next year too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sarah. That's very
Sarah.
There was
those
a
long runs in.
specific question for Dr. Jocelyn Fitzgerald.
Oh boy.
While the doctor-patient relationship is monumental, what kind of boundaries do you set to keep the relationship professional? And that is from Rhonda.
I think she's asking like my boundaries,
I believe.
for patients who maybe are
Yeah.
either too casual or like reach out and to the office above and beyond the normal patient.
That's home taking it, yeah.
Yeah, that can be tough. So much of like medicine is managing people's personalities and like their affect with their needs. I will say now that people have such easy access to electronic medical, like to the EMR, to like the patient portal, there are patients who will send like so many messages.
I bet.
Our office pretty much makes it very clear and has a policy that like unless somebody has cancer that's been discovered or like some like really serious conversation that has to be had, that like they need to make a telemedicine appointment. So I don't make calls after hours because I would literally be on the phone till midnight. Like I would never go home. So I reply in the portal or I get them an appointment. Some people, that means they have to wait a little longer, but I think people do need to also remember that like doctors are people who like need to leave work.
Right.
And that we have like systems in place to deal with emergencies, but like your question, if it's an emergency, you might trigger the ER, which no one wants to do. I get it. The ER is horrible, but like you might not get a response for 48 to 72 hours. Right. And I'm okay with that because like there's no bottom to like the people who need help. Like there will always be more. So yeah, I always like respond, but I just let people know. And I do have some patients who like send message after message after message. And I like, I'm not trying to say I'm like the queen of confrontation, but I'm like fine with telling them like, I very much want to answer all of your questions. And I don't think this is the right way to do it. So I'm going to get you an appointment so that you can get them all answered. And then I get it scheduled on my calendar and I get paid for my time.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's another thing, like to go back to like the discrimination. They've also done a study on the number of patient portal messages and phone calls that female physicians get versus what male physicians get. And it is like 5 or 6 times more. Wow. And it really is also the very similar thing, like to the occupational housework. People think there's this quote that I love. Oh my God, this woman, what is the name of her book? It Will Come to Me. But basically it's like, we think that men's time is finite like diamonds and women's time is infinite like sand. And we are like so fine with like bothering women with things that we'd be like, oh, I don't want to bother a man like that.
Yeah.
Which isn't, men should be more approachable. I'm not saying the truth isn't somewhere in the middle, but yes, this is a good question because the boundaries between that the patients hold between male physicians and female physicians are very different because they feel much more comfortable. Even little things like I had male attendings be like, why are these patients just like, bloop, 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 bloop. I got in and out the room so fast. I'm like, I go in there and she asks me things she doesn't feel comfortable asking you. Mm-hmm. And then she'll bring out like pictures of her grandkids. Yeah. Like, she's just yapping. And I'm like, ma'am, I have 20 other patients to see. But like, men, they're like, oh, he's very busy. I don't want to bother him with like pictures of my grandkids. Yeah. So I don't know. Sometimes you do need to say like, I'm so sorry. I do have many other patients to take care of. I will put you in the queue. I don't know if that's the right answer, but
such a good answer.
I think it's a great answer.
Yeah. But
I have a new female gynecologist and she reminds me of you and that's why I like her so much. I'm not kidding. And she's young. She's so young and she like was life-changing. Dr. Allison.
I know you did tell me.
Yeah.
It was literally life-changing. Like
that's
it's
so
hard
great.
to me to change. Anyway,
I'm so glad.
And that concludes another episode of PttsburgHer. So we encourage you to please make sure you are getting all of your episodes. You can find them on the website at Pittsburgh Magazine or Jagoff.com. You can also get them wherever you get your podcasts, through Spotify, through Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts. In the meantime, make sure you are on the lookout for the next Pittsburgh Magazine Women in Business event in February. Sarah.
See you next Tuesday.